In the previous movie, we saw how to store materials in sample slots in order to save them even if they're not assigned to objects in the scene, and even if they're not present in the graph. Eventually, though, you will run out of sample slots because there are only 24 of them here. Additionally, this doesn't provide any way for you to share materials between scenes. And for both of those use cases, you want to create a material library. This is a file that has unlimited size. You can store as many materials as you want, and you can load them into any scene that you want. To create a material library, you'll go to the Material Map browser. At the very top is a search field, and next to that search field is an arrow pointing down, and the tooltip says Material Map Browser Options. Click on that, and that is the all-important secret menu for the Material Map browser. The map browser is a separate window from the material editor itself, and it has its own commands, such as create a new material library. And we're taken to our current project to a subfolder called Material Libraries. We can see that if we click on this down arrow and save in, it's showing me the entire path. So we're saving into my current project, Material Libraries. And let's give it a file name here at the bottom. I'll call it office.mat and click Save. So now I've got a new rollout. It's labeled office.mat and it's got the word lib next to it. And if I hover my mouse there, it shows me the path to that material library. And to add something to the material library, click and drag from the output of a material node. So just drag over there and release. And now that's in the material library, but the material library is not saved yet. And there's a little asterisk next to it indicating that it has not been saved. Let's add something else. We can drag and drop from the sample slots as well. Drag this other file cabinet node up in there. So let's go to that blue line and then release the mouse. And we see this one is named File Cabinet without any color listed on it, because that's what we had in the sample slot here. But I can overwrite that if I want. I can take this one File Cabinet Pink and drag over on top of the one labeled File Cabinet. And I've just erased that or overwritten it. And likewise with these, I can drag these over and add them to the material library. And we need to save this material library. If we exit out of Max, we'll be prompted to save the open material library, but it's always a good practice to save manually so you don't lose your work. To do that, you'll need to right-click on the name of the material library, in this case office.mat. Right-click on that, and you get a pop-up menu. Then you need to go to the name of the library listed at the top, and it says office.mat, and there you can choose Save. Once I've done that, the little asterisk disappears, and I've saved those 4 materials into their own library called office.mat. If you want to close that library and not see it listed in the Material Map browser any longer, then again, right-click on its name, and from that pop-up menu, choose Close Material Library. And that, of course, does not delete anything from your hard drive. It just hides that material library from the Material Map browser. To open a material library, once again, go to the Material Map Browser Options menu, the little down-facing arrow, and choose Open Material Library. We're taken back to the Material Libraries folder within our current project, and we can select that file and click Open, and it's loaded once again. I do recommend only opening material library files that are saved within your current project. But of course, you can copy those .mat files from one project to another. They're very small files, and it's important to remember also that they do not include any maps or textures. They just include the definition of the material structure and all of its parameters. If you have external files like bitmaps, those are handled separately, and we'll look at that later in the course. That's how to store materials in material libraries, allowing you to share them between scenes and projects.